The following is a presentation of the Tragically Hip podcast series.
Okay, we are officially into uncharted waters. We never do third ones. So let's see what happens.
Yer Hipstories, reflections from the final tour.
Hey, it's JD here, and welcome to Yer Hipstories, reflections from the final tour. It is August 14th, 2026 today, but we are going backwards in time 10 years to August 14th, 2016, that night in Toronto, part 3, and we've got some panelists around the table who were actually in the building. So we are going to hear from them about their memories, the magic, and the moments that made up this lovely evening in August. We have got, first of all, we have got Dave from Thornhill. How are you doing, Dave?
Doing great, JD. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. I love your shirt. We've got Jeff from Buffalo with us today. And how are you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Glad you're here. And our friend Jeff from Belleville. How are you doing on this hip-tastic day, Mr. Jeff?
Doing fantastic, JD. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Lovely. Well, let's start at the start. Let's talk about now. And this is going to be sort of a question that wasn't on your list, so it'll get you thinking right off the top. Dave, what's a song that you hear today that takes you back 10 years to that night in Toronto?
Oh, it's actually, I would say it's a song that takes me back to the last show to Kingston, which is the song Scared.
Oh.
I don't have a song that takes me directly back to Toronto, although I have some memories of specific songs from the Night 3 Toronto show. There are just some lines, and I've been listening to the series, this podcast series, and some other people have touched on, there's some lines in Scared that just hit you like a ton of bricks when it comes to the vulnerability and the reality of what Gord's situation was, and to hear him sing those lines, just heartbreaking. So that's what gets me.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah. Cathartic is a word that comes up time and time again on this show. So hearing those lyrics definitely cuts different. Jeff from Belleville, is there a song that you hear today that takes you back to Toronto 3?
Yeah, GD, it was the opening track of the concert, Blow It High Dough. For me, like I've been to plenty of concerts, and Blow It High Dough seemed to be one of those staple tracks. And I think I've described it before on the podcast, but it's such a great live track. And just the way that they build it up, and then they hit the lights when everything kicks in after the intro. That's how they came out and hit us in the face with this show. You know, there was lots of anticipation and nervousness and things like that for the show. So I just felt like it was a super strong track for them to kick it off with and put everybody at ease. And it just it was a familiar live track for me. And so for me, I think of Blow It High Dough when I go back to that concert.
When you say put you at ease, what exactly do you mean, Jeff from Belleville?
When I say what, JD? Sorry?
Put the song Put You at Ease.
Yeah, well, I think I was nervous going into the show with the announcement of Gord being sick, and I think the trepidation that a lot of people felt about the tour. It was the first time I saw them on that tour, and I think
Ring of Death.
Jeff, we'll go to you. Jeff from Buffalo. Is there a song that you hear today that reminds you of that night?
Yeah, the one, I mean, obviously there's a ton of songs. The one that I can think of most readily is Three Pistols, and always one of my favorites. And the funny thing was, is there was these rowdy Canadian guys, I'm assuming, in front of us, and they were dancing and they had the beers. And I mean, it might have been some of you guys, I don't know. But I was like, oh man, I was there with my wife, and I'm like, these guys, they're kind of crazy. They're in our way. But by the time we got to Three Pistols and I heard that opening riff, I just high-fived the craziest guy in front of me, and we became buddies after that. But that's just such a great song, and it's just the riffs are just fantastic. So I've always loved that one, and I was really psyched to hear that in concert.
Oh yeah, that is great. Great that you got to hear one that you really wanted to hear. So that's lovely. Well, Jeff from Buffalo, we'll stick with you, and we'll start with our first question, which is, what were you thinking and what were you feeling when you first heard the news coming out of Victoria Day long weekend in 2016?
Yeah, I always remember it. I usually run in the morning, and I came in from my morning run, and I just picked up my phone, and I just looking at emails, and there was that email from the band, and I looked at it, and I saw it, and you're just like stunned. And I came in the house, and I had probably had some look on my face, a look of concern, and my wife asked me what was going on, and I just handed her the phone. I couldn't even say anything. And I mean, literally the worst news you could possibly hear about the band. We'd been waiting for this album. It'd been 4 years. There was a lot of rumors. We just thought, who knows? It's just taking a while because they're getting older. And yeah, it was a shock, and it was just really sad. I guess the only positive was that soon after we heard they were gonna push through and tour. So yeah, unforgettable.
So when you heard about the tour and you heard about the news, was it one of those like, I'm fucking there, like I'm going, this is a done deal, crocodile done deal, I am absolutely going to this show? And if so, how did you end up scoring tickets? I understand it was a little difficult.
Yeah, it was the first couple times I think I failed, and I was there at the ready, and how you guys know how buying tickets is these days. It's just complete madness, and it's just, you have all these plans and then it's just gone in seconds. And I also didn't want to spend a gazillion dollars. We have 4 kids, we have triplets, they were young at the time, so I wasn't trying to spend an arm and a leg, but I still wanted to see the show. And then I think it was the last on sale that they had, and finally kind of broke through. And the trick that I ended up finding was that they kept showing that like 4 tickets was not available, 2 tickets wasn't available. And finally I was just like, what if I just try 1 ticket? And when I would put in 1 ticket, it would say, would you like another? So somehow it was kind of broke the algorithm a little bit. And I'm like, yes, I'd like another. And I got tickets for me and my wife and a friend of ours and his wife. So that was the way we got it. So it was definitely not a sure thing. And I was super relieved because I would be very upset if, I didn't get to see him on that last tour.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you put in 1 and then it asked you for a second one, and it asked you for a third and fourth as well.
JD, could you repeat that?
Yeah, I was just saying you asked for 1 ticket and then it asked you if you wanted a second.
Yeah.
But did it ask you for a third and fourth as well? Or how did you get the 4?
I just did it twice, and I ended up getting tickets from my buddy Aaron and his wife. So yeah, just somehow it worked. Somehow looking for 1 ticket got me in when 2 was shutting me down, which really doesn't make a lot of sense. But
no,
it was kind of miraculous, and I was so happy.
I'm learning a lot of hacks. I'm learning a lot of ticketing hacks on this program.
So stressful.
Yeah.
Oh my
totally.
gosh. It goes so fast. You're just like, it's sold out.
Dave from Thornhill, take me through you hearing the news and the rest of that good stuff. Well, the news wasn't good stuff, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the news, I believe I was on my way to work. I I was just getting in the car, a young and egg area, and I got this email. Look at my phone, and my whole body just like sunk. I just like I had to look at the words again and like review them and see like, is my mind like fucking with me? Like, what's going on? I was also relieved to see that they were going to tour. But leave it to some of my friends to bring some humor to the situation, because I immediately sent one of my group chats the email screenshot, and one of my friends is a bit spaced out, so he obviously didn't read the first part, which talked about Gord's diagnosis. He just saw that there was a hip tour, so he's like, "Oh, great, new hip tour," and we were all like, "Oh, come on, man, you didn't see it, did you?" And he's like, "See what?"
Shit.
So, leave it to some friends for some laughter. But yeah, I will never forget sitting in that car and just like that hollowness. It was awful.
So when you saw the tour dates, was there any dates that you were, I'm going to be there for those, or was it Toronto 3 or bust, or what? Take me through that.
It was challenging because I was still going to a summer camp, overnight camp, where I was basically in Halliburton for 6 to 8 weeks of the summer. So I didn't really know like when I could for sure get away for a day off from camp. Kingston was after camp, so I knew I wanted to go to Kingston for sure. And I knew I wanted to go to at least, what was realistic was to go to one Toronto show, like to get a day off, go from Halliburton to Toronto and hit up one show. I don't remember, like, I think for me, I chose the third because I wanted to be at the last Toronto Hip show. So I decided to get tickets. Getting tickets for me for Toronto wasn't hard. I got lucky. But I'll go off on a 30-second tangent to get your empathy.
Make it as long as you want.
For Kingston, I had floors and they were processing. So I was freaking out. I was at school. I was on prep. I'm a teacher. I was on my prep and I was trying to get tickets. And I just see them processing, please wait. And I'm like, oh my God, I got floors for Kingston. Like, I'm going to go to the last hip show ever. And it took like 5 minutes and then it just said error. Please, like, check again. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, and I went from up here to just like immediately like, oh, tickets are only $10,000 now. Okay, no big deal. I guess I won't be going.
On the aftermarket?
They were pretty crazy. I don't remember exactly. I'm maybe a hyperbole there, but yeah, they were pretty crazy.
Wow. So you ended up getting Kingston tickets though?
No,
you
I
didn't.
had the floors and they just disappeared on me.
Damn. Yeah. Oh, Dave, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Jeez. Jeff from Belleville. You've gone dark on us, which is totally cool. Take me through your day finding out and the ticket tale.
Yeah, similar to how Dave described it. I remember we were about a year into a new house and our kids were small, and I was just walking through the front foyer reading an email, and when my brain registered what I was reading, like my whole body just flashed hot, and it was just like my gut dropped out, and my kids must have picked up on it, and Dad, what's wrong? And I think I just said Gord Downey is not doing well, and I might have. I did. I teared up and I pulled it together quickly because I had a couple of kids. But yeah, that was receiving the news. That was shitty. And then of course it was what I talked about with my buddies quite a bit after that. We're all Hip fans growing up. But moving past the sad part and going to the ticket story. I guess it's not much better, but I got tickets. But I remember thinking to myself, I really wanted to be at the final show, the Kingston show. So, of course, I had, my timer set on my phone to give me 5 minutes to hop on the computer and prep and get ready and get in the queue. And I actually got tickets for the Kingston show, and it pulled up the seating, and I picked the seats that I exactly wanted to be in, and I hit enter to press, to purchase it, and the spinning wheel of death started. And I remember sitting there going, yeah, I must have sat there staring at the spinning wheel for half an hour, just hoping it would go through, and it didn't. So plan B, I started trying for a Toronto show, and I got tickets for the third show. And then fortunately my brother had gotten tickets for the Ottawa show. So I was able to get there for that as well.
Oh, that's
consolation.
Nice. Yeah. Was it easy to get the Toronto 3 tickets?
Yeah. Do I still have them?
No. Was it easy to get them?
No.
Was it easy to get them?
Yeah. It was easy enough to get them. I just hopped on, and I don't remember having any issues getting those. It was just like plan B, I got to go and get Toronto tickets, and I was able to get them quickly enough. So I was content at the end of my ticket finding session. Content enough. So, and I got two. I got a pair of tickets, and my wife and I went to the show.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's nice. I like hearing, who people go with as well, how special those moments are. And we'll get into that now. Jeff from Belleville, will stick with you here. And I want to know, take me through the day of August 14th. What was that day like, heading to the arena, standing outside, the vibe, getting inside the arena, seeing the countdown clock, all that stuff. Take me through that day.
Yeah. Prior to the show, JD, the day's a blur. I don't remember anything about it. But I remember getting down to the stadium. Was it Rogers Center at the time? Anyway.
Air Canada Center.
We got down there, and thank you. Yes, got down to the ACC, and it was like any concert night down there. It was a buzz, but it was different because it was a hip show, and I think everybody understood that it could be one of the last times they see the hip. And I remember being a little apprehensive. I still think about this. There was a booth that they had set up, and it was like you could go and record some thoughts or some words. Mm-hmm. And I remember kind of standing there apprehensively on the fringe watching people do this, and they were like, I yearned to go and do it, but for whatever reason I just sort of stood back kind of going and I didn't, and I regret it to this day. I don't know what they ever did with the recordings that people were going in and they were saying some words and things like that. But so there's that part, and then we went inside, and I think I've told this story on maybe the Sunday evening jam before, but before the show started, we knew we weren't going to get up from our seats, so we thought, let's go to the bar. I'll get a couple beer. My wife thought she'd get a couple wine, and we were in line, and we just started chatting with some other folks in line, and like all hip fans, they're great folks, and we shared stories, and it was really cool. And in the brief time that we moved up in the line, I guess we obviously bonded over some great stories, and there was a guy with us. And I go up and order 2 beers, and my wife ordered 2 wines. And of course, as you know, the prices are ridiculous. But the guy was like, listen, I'm going to cover that. I really enjoyed your stories. It was awesome chatting with you. And I said, no. Like, we're getting 2 each. He's like, not a problem. He goes, pay it forward, man. I really appreciate your stories. And, I just, that was such a cool thing. And he bought drinks for the 2 girls that were behind us as well. And I just thought, wow, man, that's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, you know what, and then of course you get in your seats and the show begins. But that was the build up vibe for me. It was just sort of like, bittersweet. Like I knew I was seeing them Ottawa, but I just didn't know what to expect for this show that I was at. Some apprehension, some regret that I didn't say some words, and then a really cool experience with a few other hip fans in line getting prepped.
What did you think of the production, in the sense that they did have that countdown clock, and they had Robbie come on at the 5-minute mark telling everybody to get ready to sit down? What were you thinking about that? That was pretty cool, huh?
To be honest, I don't know if I was in my seat when that happened. I might have been in the line sharing stories. You were getting
free beer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So it's I don't have a recollection of Bobby coming out and doing that. So perhaps like I was in the hallways when that happened, and then people started cheering. We shuffled out as quickly as we could to our seats.
So Dave, same question for you. Take me through that day. I want to hear about the vibe.
Yeah, for me it was weird just because it was near the end of the camp summer and I was going on a day off. I don't even know if it was like a sanctioned day off, like if it was a normal one, or if I got special like permission to leave. But I was basically like, I'm going to the show. Nothing will stop me. Um, I usually have a rule where I don't listen to the band of a show. Like on the day of a show, I won't listen to that band. But I was blasting the Hip on the way back. I
Rules are
couldn't
meant to
help
be
it.
broken.
Yeah, exactly. So I met I don't know I met my buddy I guess probably in Thornhill, and we went down. I remember seeing the Hip, like they had like almost like a poster, kind of like a marquee thing above like a set of doors by the ACC, and it just like it was the boys and it said the Tragically Hip, and I just remember staring at that, and it was a bit surreal. It was like I knew I would be staring at that walking into a Hip show for the last time, like staring at like a advertisement of the boys getting ready for the night, walking in. It was just like a kind of eerie, weird like vibe for me.
Yeah.
It didn't like I didn't just feel like, oh, I'm just going to a Hip show. I really was feeling like the effects of this is it for me. Um, and also just thinking about the band and like how they must be like feeling and like how they're doing this, how they're getting through it. Um, and I remember pieces of the show, certain songs to stick in my memory. But overall, the vibe was I think I was in a lot of denial. Um, I just couldn't get past. I love the Hip so much. We all do. It's just like a part of me, and it was just like that part of me is. I mean, it's never gone because we have all the music we can listen to and the camaraderie between all of us and all that. But the dream of what it was is unfortunately gone, and that just I couldn't escape that. So yeah, could have been more present. I'll say that much.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff from Buffalo. I'll ask you the same thing. Well, he's looking to
Yeah.
his right.
It's funny. I wrote about this. I wrote about this at the time. I found my notes about it, so it brought back some things that I might have forgotten about. And I noted right away that I was nervous and anxious as we drove up the QEW to Toronto, which sounds about right. Because again, like you guys, I'm feeling for the band. And if people forget now, there was like a media blackout. Really, like the band said they're touring, Gord's sick, they're touring, but they weren't doing any media. There was no press, and I just remember being nervous before they did that first show in Victoria. Like I couldn't wait to get online the next morning and just hear about how it went, because you just didn't know how it was going to unfold. And I think it was kind of that same feeling driving up, that it just kind of worried, kind of at ease. And then we got there. Yeah, there was, as Jeff mentioned, there was that recording booth thing, and I thought about doing it as well. And I think the people that I was with probably weren't as extroverted, so we didn't end up doing it. I kind of regret that as well. But it's cool to be there with people, obviously, who love the band, to see them, in Toronto, one of the biggest cities up there, where they have a huge following, was really cool. But again, the thing for me is that I might have been uneasy at the start of the show, but once the music started, it was like just off to the races. And it wasn't funereal, I'm going to say it wrong. It was just celebratory. And to
Yeah.
me, they pulled off the illusion. I wasn't sad. I thought I might be crying. There was no crying. I remember there was a tinge. I had a tinge, and it had by kind of those opening notes, but it was just rock concert all night. This is awesome. Again, high-fiving the drunk guys in front of us. It was just awesome. And just being able to cheer for Gord when he was soaking it all in. Like, again, to me, I just, again, looking back at my notes, I said, there's no way he's sick, because they were just so defiant and in the face of this situation. So they just pulled off something really magical.
They really did. Against all fucking odds, they managed to do this. 15 dates with somebody that's got, only 2/3 of his brain, and that's the memory part. It's absolutely staggering. And when you think of the number of songs they took out on the road, bands don't do that, especially bands where the singer doesn't have a memory.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there were teleprompters, I know, and he was using them for sure, but by and large, he fucking totally pulled it off, I thought. So
yeah, wasn't it Paul who was doing the writing the sets every night?
That's right. Yeah.
So I wonder if Gord just looked at him and said, "Man, we've been playing relatively similar sets now for a while, and then you're doing this when I have no memory. Like, you're throwing this at me."
I wonder if they did it record by record so that he could compartmentalize a little bit, because I mean, it's interesting the way they set up. They could have done the exact same set list but mixed it up completely, and probably that would have been, for some people, that would have been better. To me, I liked the way they did it. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really cool that they started out in the center, in that small group, and then when they came back after the Thunder and Lightning, they were full stage. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick break, fellas, and we'll get back and we'll do some analysis of the set list. We'll talk about saying goodbye, and then we'll also get into where you were on August 20th. We'll be right back after this. Okay, we're back, and we're going to take a look at this set list now and get the guys talking about the various songs, the special record that they got that night, what they thought of that, and encores. We're going to do the whole thing. Jeff from Buffalo, I'm going to pull this up for you right now. There we are. There's the set list from Toronto, number 3, August 14th, 2016. Started, like you said, with Blow It High Dough. Jeff from Buffalo, take me through this magic.
Yeah, no, again, I looking back at my notes, I noted this was like the perfect set list for me, and I love how they broke it up by the album eras. Opiated has always been a song that I've really, really loved. One of my favorites. It's just kick-ass. And Machine was one of my favorites from the new album, What Blue. I mean, they were just crushing it on just so many levels. I remember We Want to Be It was really, really strong. The way Gord sings that, which is just such meaning and emotion, that I remember that really standing out. Flamenco, that was one of the songs I think I mentioned before we got started that really got me into the hip, where I was like, oh, this band, there's something special here. So to hear that was pretty awesome. And I think I mentioned earlier the opening chords of Head by a Century. It almost got me. They didn't get me, but it was close. But yeah, it was just amazing. And then when they closed, I do remember, and you guys probably remember this as well, in Bobcaygeon, the whole Night in Toronto lyric, I was really looking forward to that, and I feel like Gord missed it. And the crowd obviously covered for it, and it felt a little, oh shoot. But again, look at what we're up against here, and it's fine. And the show goes on, and it's just awesome that it was happening at all. And I thought too, the final encores, well, Daredevil, that's just, again, they have so many great songs, but just another underrated, just amazing song. And then Grace 2, then there was just a ton of emotion with Grace 2. And then it's interesting because that really kind of foreshadowed the performance of what we saw then in Kingston with that. And Gord just kind of leaving it all out there. But again, he was so jubilant in front of that crowd and just defiant with his condition. And you just knew that the band was just, soaking up the moment. And I was just so happy that the fans had that chance to connect with the band, and the band deserved that Gord needed that at the time. You know, they had that victory lap. So I was thankful for that.
Jeff from Belleville?
Yeah, really well said, Jeff. I couldn't agree more. I thought it was such a treat, you know, because you would think that being a tour for the album that we were going to be predominantly presented with songs from that album, but what a gift to the fans that they chose to work their set lists the way that they did. You know, we got a touch of everything. It took us, like, for those of us, some are newer fans, some are older fans, but regardless, we've probably listened to all the albums, and so they gave us the opportunity to sort of revisit the memories, the experiences, and the love for all the songs from all their albums, which was great. And you're right, some of these tracks they present. Sorry about the boat motor in the background. Some of these tracks they are so phenomenal when they're live, and you highlighted a few of them. But I loved it, and you know, they did a couple other neat things as well. I think with a lot of fans having a little trepidation and concern, the way that JD, you mentioned this, the way that they started the show closely around each other, and I think we were all really hinged on every word Gord said to see if there were, you know, any things that we need to be worried or concerned about. And there were some glitches, and you know, sometimes it created emotion. I know I had emotion a couple times, you know, because I think those little glitches in the timing or the words, they were just smack in the face to the reality that was presented to us. But the band and Gord just have such an incredible ability to take you away and put you in the moment and take you back to all the great memories and times, whether it's shows or times with friends when you're listening to the Hip, or just yourself sitting listening to Hip. And so anyway, I know we're trying to talk about the set list, but the fact that the set list was such a mix, it was just beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, you got some great songs, and and you're right about the live piece. There's some songs, particularly I'm thinking Little Bones, Twist My Arms, Three Pistols. God, I mean, you ended
Crowd
with Grace
pleasers.
too, for fuck's sake. That's epic. That's absolutely epic. Dave, what are your first blushes on the set list?
Yeah, I mean, it almost echoes Jeff from Buffalo. Like, I couldn't believe we got Opiated.
Right.
That blew my mind. I remember, like, when I believe it was they went off, then everyone came back on except Gord, and they were playing Last of the Unplucked Gems for a while. I think while Gord was probably changing, getting ready to come back out. I just remember that kind of in between. First of all, I was like, I can't believe I'm hearing Last of the Unplucked Gems.
Yeah.
That was like, whoa. But that was like reflection time, because it was just like this this background music playing, sort of like with anticipation. We've already gone through 2/3 or so of the show. It's been, it was kick ass, and it's kind of like this anticipation of like, okay, like, what's he going to be wearing when he comes out now, and what's coming next? Like, how much longer do we have of this magical evening?
Right.
But looking at the set, it's just like, I don't think could have been they have too many good songs, and their music is too amazing that, like, I don't think there was a bad set for the whole tour.
Agreed.
You can't pick from all the albums and have a bad show. They're just too solid.
Too good.
Yeah, I do remember the Bobcaygeon muff, for sure. I was totally anticipating that night in Toronto, and it's great that we all sort of did it, even though he stumbled through it. And I remember the emotion of Grace 2 was just like, I believe he was like, there was an up close shot of him on the big screen, and his emotion, like, it was so raw, and I felt so much for him. in that moment, and like felt so much appreciation because he was giving everything he had, to the last bead of sweat that was coming down. It was just surreal.
So when they played Grace 2, I'm guessing part of that catharsis for him was the Him Here Now, based on what I saw at the Kingston show. What was it like at this show, Dave?
Yeah, I think it was pretty similar. Just like almost like anger and frustration and love and everything just kind of like pouring out in this climax. Not just climax of the song, but like of the show too.
Yeah.
Just like left you speechless. It's like the show ends after that. Gord has his moment. People are able to get their moment with him live for most people for the last time, and then it's just done. The house lights come up, and you're like, "What do I even do after that? Like, how do I digest what just happened? Like the whole night, but then the end."
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeff from Belleville, you were going to say something?
Yeah, no, just Dave, like a lot of great words you threw out there to describe that that moment with the close up on the big screen during Grace 2. I just remember it being like every emotion that he exuded with his facial expressions, they were intense. Like,
Jeff from Buffalo, similar experience for you?
Yeah, it was again, it's just jarring to even think back to that. It was almost like an exorcism. Like, the songs are all kind of coded in riddles and they're not straightforward, but Gord, we know what he's going through, and he's kind of working through all those emotions on stage, and he's kind of revealing himself in that moment. And again, he's not telling you everything, but you're kind of seeing this human being, and it's kind of an exchange for sure. And it was awesome. But again, it was still much more joyful than sad. And I think I agree with what Dave said, that it really only hit me when the house lights turned on. And then it was like, oh, that was the jarring part. It was like, oh, this is over. I'm never going to see these guys live again. Like, that was the moment where it was like, up till that point, it was like a magic spell. The whole evening was a magic spell. But then when the lights turned on, I was like, oh, guess we gotta go. We gotta leave. Like, that was tough.
Oh, I fucking bet. What I am getting from a lot of people that I've been talking to, Jeff from Buffalo, is the same sort of vibe. People talking about it being so communal. And like you mentioned, high-fiving the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly everybody there becomes, family is probably a little too strong, but community. Everybody becomes community. And for that last night in Toronto line, or that night in Toronto line, like you said, that community lifted him up. And it wasn't a mistake. It was just something that you all got to sing along to. I mean, it was a mistake, but you know what I'm saying. And I got to tell you, I've been very fortunate to have listened to the live record. And there are bleeps and blops on the live record, like some lyrical flubs on the live record, which to me, I love that they didn't just go out and get the best songs where there's no errors or anything like that, because it was part of the tour. It was part of that tour, and it's good to remember that, I think. Dave?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what happened, right? The way, like they're presenting it the way it happened. The way we all experienced it. And I think you capture the human nature, the human side of that, the human condition, by revealing the flaws. Right? Nothing's perfect. Look at Instagram and all the touch-ups that people do to all their photos and all that stuff, right? It's all bullshit. But nothing's better than an actual raw, authentic experience. And that's totally what we got from the band that night.
There's never been any artifice. There's never been any artifice with this band. It's like they are who they are, and they do what they do. And, they made a successful career out of that, doing what they wanted to do.
Just ask Tower Records.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible when I read
I-
that, or when I saw that in the doc. Sorry, Jeff from Belleville.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, can I also just mention too, visually, so that night Gord wore his silver suit and a white
Okay.
t-shirt under his jacket, and I just felt like it was pretty cool visually as well to see him, because like the lights are down and it's sort of a black and white setting with a little bit of color interjected here and there, but Gord just seemed to radiate light, like and it was kind of symbolic, like of just who he is. Like he just radiates that, and people just absorb, as the leader of the band. The band obviously it's a a collective effort and everything, but it just as Gord as the front man and everything that was going on, I just thought it was kind of a neat symbolic visual thing, like that he just was like radiating light. And even when he took his jacket off, he even had a white shirt underneath. He just seemed to glow. He had the purple hat and just radiated. So I just thought that was a really neat visual aspect that I absorbed that night as well.
Well, talking about the visual, I know that this is date. What was this? Date 12 on the tour. There was 3 more dates after this. But nevertheless, I'm curious, and you can date it back. It doesn't have to be about Toronto number 3. Dave, what were you thinking about Gord's garish outfits?
I honestly was like, I guess I had probably seen some pictures from like, I had known that he was doing that.
Right.
But I couldn't help but think, hello, good evening, folks. We are the Silver Poets, and he's in the silver suit, and it's just like the words become reality. And it was awesome, and it became such a symbol for the Downey Wenjack Fund, and
Yeah,
so it's had such a long-lasting impact.
absolutely. Jeff from Buffalo?
Yeah, no, he just made the suits. I hate the word iconic, but that immediately became a symbol of Gord wearing those outfits. And then it's funny because then you only pictured him in those outfits, and you forget about everything he was wearing in the previous 25 years, which were nothing like that.
Jeans and a
But
t-shirt.
yeah, exactly. But again, he could pull it off, and I think in a way maybe it was his armor, it was a distraction, it was something else to occupy. And again, kind of like a magician, and I'm going to dazzle you with some illusions, and here's something else, here's a different suit I'm going to slip into. And again, the suits were kind of humorous, again, just to maybe take people away of the reality of the situation. And I believe that, what was that, his hat designer, right, was is named Izzy.
Karen.
And that's my there's somebody named Izzy, and that's my oldest
the
daughter.
suit designer.
Maybe it's his suit designer. There it is. So again, these things are all intermixed and symbolic. So yeah, it was a cool look, and you might as well go out big, right?
Yeah. Jeff from Belleville, your thoughts on the suits?
Loved it. Yeah, I agree. Like I found it a little cringy in the beginning, like just thinking about it, like because like Dave said, I think there was some information that came out about the hats and the suits ahead of time, and I think I didn't, I thought it just was out of character and a little cringy, to be flat out honest, but he completely pulled it off. Like seeing it in person, like it was. It added to the experience, and it wasn't like a deterrent or cringy at all. I think Gord could wear a muumuu and he'd wear it well, and everybody would be like, yes, like that guy is just out of this world. So yeah, I my initial thoughts were completely opposite of how I felt when I saw him strut out in it.
Pulled it off.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Well, any final thoughts on the set list, gentlemen,
sure,
before we pull it down? No, we're all good. All right. Well, let's start to get a little melancholy now, I suppose, because this is now the section where we talk about that goodbye moment in the concert. Both Dave and Jeff from Buffalo have already said that when the house lights came up, that's when it that's when the clock struck midnight in a way. Jeff from Buffalo, take me through the end. Coming out of the arena, the whole nine. Give me the whole nine. What did you do afterwards?
Yeah, we left, and like I said, it was a little weird. We all loved it. My wife and I met up with our friends, and they were in different sections. And then it was Sunday night, and I don't know why somebody thought this was a good idea, but there was another kid we knew from high school who was there, and he's like, "Oh, we're going to this bar to hang out." And again, like I'm like, "Oh, geez, it's Sunday night, and I'm in Toronto. I got to work tomorrow. Like, what are we doing? We're going out to a bar." But it was nice to do something normal and just kind of hang out and catch up. I do remember thinking it was a little weird. It was a little weird to just be kind of chit chatting with somebody I hadn't seen in like 15, 20 some years when I'm still hit with the heaviness of what I just saw. So like that was a little like, I think I wanted to just be like alone with my thoughts. And then I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm feeling just being in a bar here, just hanging out. But it was cool. And again, if nothing else, the show was just so inspiring. And again, it makes you realize, like, I just sat there and think like, geez, you've got your health. Why you could do anything? Here's a guy who's compromised. He knows he's got unlimited time here, and look at the show that they're putting on. So I think it was just inspiring and motivating in that way. Like, geez, this is how we should all be living our lives. Like, we all have something terminal.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's great that you took that away from this. Changing the way you live potentially. Jeff from Belleville, what did you do when the lights came up?
I wish I could remember, JD.
Too many free beers, I guess.
Honestly, yeah, that's right. No, we live a bit of a hike outside of Toronto, so we had like a hour 40 drive ahead of us. So I think we just filtered out, got into our vehicle and made our way back. So no, not too many beers. I was able to drive just the two for the show.
What was the conversation like on the way home?
My wife. Yeah, I honestly don't recall. I don't know if we talked too much about it, to be honest with you. I think we were both probably just a little drained, and now we were going to be going to the show in Ottawa as well. The two of us, my wife Shannon and I, went to that show. So, I don't think there was a whole lot of processing. I don't think I had that experience as much, like Jeff and Dave described about when the lights came on, and that was the reflective moment, because I knew I was going to be having another experience with them in a few days. So. For me at that show, there wasn't a whole lot of deep experiences that are worth talking about immediately after.
That's strange. And I don't mean to call you out, Jeff, that you just have no recollection. To me, that means the show really took a lot of real estate in your brain, for you not to remember the before and after. It's impactful. It shows how impactful that show was to you. To me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was clearly the most meaningful thing that happened that day, and probably for a long stretch on either side, including obviously the Ottawa show and then watching the Kingston show on TV.
Dave? Yeah, I just remember. I was just gonna say, I remember they were going to be playing in Hamilton 2 nights later, and then I didn't have tickets for it at all, and then I was just kind of like, I got to go to this show again. It's during the week. I have 4 young kids. It's completely unreasonable to drive back to Hamilton, but I remember thinking, how can I not go to this? Like then it was just like a weird thing that they're going to play again, and maybe I could go, but I'm not going to go. So it was weird in that regard, but yeah, it was just aces.
Dave, how about you? Lights come up. What's the vibe like in the arena?
Like I said, it was just like a ton of bricks hit you. You're just like, what the hell? Like, what did we all just, like you said earlier, it's like communal. That's like a good way to describe it. Are we family or what? And we basically just all went through this trip together, and then it ends, and you're just like, what the heck just happened? Like, it was hard to process. My buddy and I just got back on the TTC, headed up north, and yeah, like Jeff from Belleville, I don't recall like what we were talking about. I just, I had to go back to camp the next morning, almost as if nothing happened. Like nothing crazy and magical and special just occurred the night before as like regular programming. But knowing that the Kingston show was going to be aired like 6 days later, that was a little bit of solace to the sadness, because it was still something to look forward to, because I know leaving Toronto, it's like sometimes you leave a concert, a normal concert, and you're just hype. You're like, holy shit, that was unreal. Maybe I'll see him next year, like that kind of vibe. Exactly. And this was like, you had the hype of how good the show was, but then you had the reality check of what the show symbolized. And those two things, like, I don't think I've never felt at a concert like that since. And maybe I'll never feel that way again at a show.
There's a good chance. This band means so much to all of us. And it's interesting that they're so deeply personal, and yet we share them with everybody. If that makes any sense.
For sure.
All right. Jeff from Buffalo.
Totally.
Where were you August 20th, 2016?
Well, we watched the show here at my house here outside of Buffalo, and it's me and my wife, and the kids were kind of watching it. Again, they were pretty young, and I had one of my friends from high school come over to watch the show with us. But again, it was awesome to see it. It was amazing that Canada and the whole world and so many people in the U.S. and all over were watching the show, and it was great to see it. But again, it was interesting. It was just they played this long show with the third encore and everything. But again, it just seemed like it's a parallel, I guess, to the band's career, like how fast the show ended up going. They started with 50 mission cap, and you're like, God, this is going to be great. And then the whole thing just moves so quickly. And then we're into the encores. And then again, even when we're into the third encore, that didn't seem like it was enough. And again, it was awesome, but you just wanted it to keep going.
Yes.
And and then there was the finality of it, that was probably going to be it. So it was awesome to see, and I love that the band was finally getting some mainstream attention in the U.S. Even like Rolling Stone and Pearl Jam was making dedications to them in concert that night. Like, they were becoming finally way too late. They were getting some of that recognition that they deserve. So at least the tragedy was good in that way.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, who cares about their international perception? But I totally understand what you're saying, Jeff. By the same token, I completely understand what you're saying. It was long overdue, but it's bittersweet. Dave?
Yeah, for me, I was at that Danforth Music Hall free kind of entry show. Yeah, we a bunch of us got tickets to go watch it there, and that was wicked. It was just at the back of the floor there, taking it in with friends with some drinks. Just crazy, magical, and I got really lucky because I, as almost everybody, thought this is the last time we're seeing Gord, we're seeing the boys. I don't remember if it was like within the month, my friend asked me randomly, hey, do you want to go to a Gord Downey concert? I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, I got 2 tickets. Do you want to go? And I was like, I don't even know what this is, but yes, like I'm going. I don't care what it is. And
was it Secret Path?
It Was Secret Path in Toronto.
Beautiful.
And just to go into a show thinking like, oh, I'm so lucky, I'm just going to see Gord again in whatever capacity, and then getting hit with Secret Path, just like absolutely life-changing in many ways, because I, like most people, had no understanding, no clue that any of that was part of our history. So it impacted me so much. I teach like the Secret Path in my classroom every year to grade 7 or
Wow.
eight
That's
students, and I let them access it on their own level, the way they're able to connect to it. It never ceases to amaze me that, they're kids, but at the same time, they're able to conceptualize what happened. And if anything, Channy was about their age. So
Yeah.
I teach it in January, and I kind of say, like, look outside, look how cold it is, look how gray and it is. And, imagine a boy your age, basically, going through what he went through. And I think that helps them relate. And yeah, so I thought it was the last time on the 20th. But then it wasn't. So I feel so lucky in hindsight that I had that opportunity.
How special is that?
Yeah,
Because that was a
for
tough
sure.
ticket. That was a tough ticket as well.
Yeah.
And that was at Roy Thompson?
Yeah.
Nice. So nice. Great venue. Jeff from Belleville. What were you up to August 20th, my friend? Jeff from Belleville, can you hear us? You cannot hear us. There we go.
Yeah, but that Secret Path album you mentioned, Dave. Yeah, that again, just what a gift that was. That just kind of came out of the blue. And again, I keep talking about the illusion that the band was still going strong. Gord was going strong for all that time.
Yes.
Even after the show, that album came out very soon after the final show in Kingston. And again, I think that was part of it, being like, wait, he's still active, he's still pretty healthy. Like, you thought it could go on for years. So I think I was still optimistic. We were hearing tons of rumors here in Buffalo that they were going to tour, that the KeyBank Center was and this was at post Kingston. There was all these rumors in Buffalo from the radio stations that they were going to tour in Buffalo at KeyBank Center, that they had the venue reserved for 2 nights. So I didn't necessarily, maybe I was naive, but I didn't necessarily think that Kingston was the end. But because they were so active.
Yeah. Well, Gord was especially active that last year. I mean, what did he release? 3 or 4 records?
Yeah.
2 of them posthumously? Like,
he's at the Air Canada Center. He's with Drake. He's, doing all the First Nations stuff. He was everywhere. So I think that made it, again, harder when he dies the following October. That felt sudden because he had been still very much in the public eye, even that year of 2017.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shocking. It was shocking, October 17th, for sure. As a lot of us, I think, felt similar to you, Jeff from Buffalo, that somehow he was going to pull through and we were going to get that great Canadian story. Instead, we got another Terry Fox story, like a tragic story, ultimately. Well, fellas, that's what I've got for you this evening. I am curious if you have anything you would like to plug. Dave?
I'm going to be releasing a book likely in October. I'm going to self-publish a fiction book under the name TJ Thompson. So that's going to be called The Throwback Academy. It'll be my debut novel, and really looking forward to having that experience and getting a book out there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good luck with that. Where will people be able to find that?
It'll be on Amazon. Yeah, I'll be posting on my Instagram at TJ Thompson Books, and Amazon, Ingram Spark. So like kind of any library or bookstore can be accessible to it.
Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Jeff from Buffalo, anything you'd like to plug?
I don't know how anyone has time to write a book, but I do like to write feature stories. So I publish a lot in Buffalo Magazine. So if you go to buffalomagazine.com or buffalonews.com, you'll see a lot of my stories. And just wrote a new story about finding washed glass at the beach here on Lake Erie, and a lot of fun family stories about some of our adventures. So yeah, just look up Jeff Bucky and Buffalo Magazine, Google that, and a lot of my stuff will come up.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Very cool. We've got a couple writers on board today. Jeff
Go
from
Bills.
Belleville. Jeff, yeah, go Bills.
One of these years.
Jeff from Belleville. Yeah, they're like
I heard
heartbreakers
your
like
name.
the
Can you
Oilers
hear me?
are. I can hear you, buddy. Do you have anything you'd like to plug, my friend?
All right. No, JD, I'm unplugged. I got nothing. I am looking forward to rewatching this episode so I can hear what everybody else said, because my internet connection was so horrible. But
Oh shit.
nobody, just plug you. Everybody listen to JD and his series, because if you like the hip or love the hip, you'll love JD and all his podcast series.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I got to tell you, I've got a plug today. We are 6 days out from August 20th, which means the Forever Hip weekend is happening in Kingston. And I'm tagging along with that with The Gathering. We've got a few events planned. We've got an event planned called The Mixer, where on the first day, August 20th, everyone can get to know one another before they head out to the town square for Choir. And then on Friday, the 21st, the day that the live record drops, we're doing a live record listening party at the Merchant Tap Room. And we've got over 100 people attending that. And then there is a Sunday brunch at a place to be determined. So if you're around Kingston and you're on the lists for those events, please stop by. If you're not on the lists and you see anyone wearing a purple shirt or a purple lanyard, you know that they're safe to talk to. And all those things are free. Everything on the Kingston weekend is free. They're showing a long time running on Friday night. They're showing the National Celebration in Springer Market Square on the Saturday night. So it's going to be a great time. If you're within driving distance, please come to Kingston. I think it's going to be a tremendous time. And if you're not driving distance, well, then you're going to be like some of the other people that have signed up. We've got people coming in from all parts of the United States, all parts of Canada. And I just found out yesterday we've got somebody flying in from the UK for this event.
Wow.
So that's pretty fucking cool, if you ask me. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for bringing your insight and memories to this episode. It was a lot of fun. I want to thank everybody who was in the chat. I want to thank everybody listening on the podcast feed. But especially I want to thank Jeff from Belleville, Jeff from Buffalo, and Dave from Thornhill, because there's no show without you guys doing the heavy lifting. So thank you very much. That's what I've got to say about that. Make sure to pick up your shit.
Thanks for listening. This has been a presentation of the Tragically Hip podcast series. For more information and to follow us, visit home.tthpods.com. If you'd like to reach JD, send an email to jd@tthpods.com.